Hello, storygoers, and welcome back to another episode of Tales from the Cartridge, the video game storytelling podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Eric Penrod.
And I'm your other co-host, Ryan Bauer.
Right, I can both see we're I'm wrapped in a blanket. You have a nice warm hoodie on. It's cold out. But anyway, how are you? And what have you been playing?
I am doing pretty good. We are recording early today because I have the thing this afternoon. So it's going to have a different energy this morning because we're old and we're tired and it's early. But overall, I am doing good. I have been playing a couple things here and there. Finished God of War Ragnarok, which I think I talked about last time that I had finished.
Yep.
I still need to go back and do a bunch of bits and bobs. I think you and our friend Dave are farther than I have because you've done more now. But that's just how it goes.
The dude got platinum. He platinumed the game.
He platinumed.
So he's definitely there.
Yeah, that's just how he does. He finishes games completely. He has that willpower that I just move on and I do not. But that's okay.
Yeah,
different folks. So haven't played actually that, but it's on my list because I just want to talk about it more. A new Vampire Survivors DLC came out. It was $2 and it added like 12 new weapons. It's like all Japanese mythology themed, so it's very fun and very cool. It's an incredible game. Everyone should play it because it's dirt cheap and very fun. And then the new Destiny season came out, which they continue to come out and continue to be like more and more incomprehensible. Cannot follow them. Complete nonsense unless like you've been playing consistently. It just makes no sense to the outsider. But that's just how Destiny does, and that's just how it's gonna go probably for until the next 5 years of Destiny until they do a reset, which I think they will do because they're setting it up for a hard reset, and that's probably when you'll be able to play Elixir and all that. But we'll get there in like 5 years. But yeah, that's how I'm doing. I also have a bit of cold, so I'm a bit stuffy.
Oh yeah. I mean, it just comes. Everybody I know, every kid that walked in my office last week had a cold, right? And like one kid, with a few of my kids that I trust that I see, I bring my Switch. So the deal is like if we're open and honest, we have a good conversation in this therapy session, we can pull up the Switch for like the last 20 minutes and play, which is awesome for me because like I get to play Switch at work. It's awesome. Anyway, this kid comes in. Mom had COVID. He didn't. It was wearing a mask, right? I was like, all right, we'll make this work. And then he's playing, and he just keeps like pulling his mask on, rubbing his nose as he's playing the Switch. I'm just like, I just like wanted to lose my mind. I was like, hey, can you use some hand sanitizer for me really fast? Like 5 times. And I had to like wipe the Switch down with like disinfectant. Anyway, everybody's sick. Anyway, I was gonna say about Destiny. What are your thoughts on the crossover between Destiny and Assassin's Creed?
It's interesting. My guess is they're trying to lean into kind of do something similar to what Fortnite does and have like get some of that crossover gameplay and energy. Really, there's no gameplay, there's no meaningful gameplay. It's just like outfits that you can pay real money for. And that's all there is with that crossover, as far as I know, unless there's more coming. I mean, the outfits are cool, like you get to look like a Norse berserker. But like there's no like meaningful gameplay. I think it is really they're just trying to do more of that crossover metaverse stuff because Fortnite does it so well and they're so successful at it that they're hoping to get some pull. But it's a weird time too. Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla is like at the end of its life. So maybe they were hoping to, get some of that last update energy, although I heard the last update isn't great. Unfortunately,
no.
I haven't gone back and done it yet, but I've heard it's not great. But who knows? I haven't done it yet, so that's my best guess. I'm assuming we're gonna see more of that stuff maybe in late fall in the next year's content, which comes out in February. As they try to have more crossover stuff and continue to take themselves less seriously and try to add more wild, silly stuff like it's the Christmas event right now. And you're just like baking cookies for everyone, and the title you get is Star Baker, like from Great British Bake Shop. So you have like Star Baker under your name. It's
so funny.
They're they're trying to, I think, be a little bit less serious and a little bit more welcoming. The story is just absolute nonsense, but that's okay.
They just embrace it at this point. It sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, the narrative of this season is a guy was resurrected by a bunch of body parts of an old dead guy, and now he wants to find the old war minds and bring them together to make a super war mind before the hive god gets it, and you're racing that hive god to collect the it's nonsense. It's very fun, and like there's good weapons and stuff, but it's just incomprehensible. Like, if you don't know what's going on, and even if you do, it just doesn't make any sense. But that's fine.
Jeez, wait. So I'm gonna apologize ahead of time, Storygorse. My dog is, and cats are like just full blown awake and walking around like crazy. So it's gonna be one of those mornings. It's a perfect morning.
Yeah, my dog just found a bone that he wants to chew right here in the office, so that's fine. That'll be good. Good audio.
My dog's just low key whining the whole time, and so yeah, it'll be great. As for me, I just been playing a lot of. So I beat God of War. Super happy about that. Like Ryan said, I'm doing some of the back stuff, but I'm kind of losing steam a little bit. Not because it's bad by any means, but just because for me, I can't stay on with the game super long. Yeah. So I'm just trying to get to the part. I'm just trying to do the things I want to do, and not the tedious things. Like, I don't think I'm going to collect all the ravens. I don't know if I'll do that. It's like I've gotten over half them by myself, so I don't know what I've gotten, what I haven't gotten. So I have to go back and look at all the places again. Yeah. And I'm like, do I really want to do this? So I'm back and forth on that. We'll see. But yeah, so God of War, great. Oh, God of War Ragnarok, I mean, it's great. Mario Kart 8 just released the new tracks, and so since the last time I talked on here, I think I said like you should go play them. So I just want to make sure I said that I love them. They're so good. There's a few that I never played before that I really like. Some returning ones that I loved. So very, very good. And then my partner and I are moved on to Overcooked 2. We 3-starred every level.
That's amazing. There is some impossible like slippery ice levels. That's incredible.
Oh. Yeah. It's the murky goo green goo levels that were just killing us. So we got to, but the thing is though, it's like we love this game so much. Like, it really does help us coordinate better and talk things through and work together as a team, which is a lot of fun. We beat the game, all 3 stars, every single level, and the game goes, guess what? Congratulations, you beat the game. But guess what? Every level has 4 stars now. And it's just insanely harder. Yeah. It's so much harder. And it was like the first level, the highest score was like 300, and then the 4-star was 1,000. And it was like, what? Like, that like that's insane. Yeah. So we just went through. We have 4 stars in all of the first levels, then we just moved on to the second tier of levels.
That's so wild.
We'll see how it goes.
What teamwork, guys? What teamwork?
We're trying. Sometimes it's so funny. Like yesterday, we're stuck on this level, and we were trying to because you start to play these levels, you get like a pattern going, right?
Yeah.
And so Lindsay is like, "What if we just go crazy and just do whatever we want to, and we'll just coordinate that way?" I was like, "Well, we can try it," and then it actually ended up being much better, which never happens that way. We gained like twice as much points that way. It was like, what is happening? Yeah. So. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But Storygoers, we hope that you're doing well, that you're happy and healthy, and everything is good. We hope that you enjoyed. My dog's walking around. My dog, his feet scrape against the floor, so sorry ahead of time. Between my squeaky chair and my dog walking on the floor, that should be a great episode.
Great audio quality all around.
Great audio quality. Yeah. I'm sure the mic's going to pick up all of it. We hope you enjoyed our last bedtime story about Toy Day from Animal Crossing. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
That was very cute.
Yeah. I was gonna write it, and then I went through all of our scripts, and I found that I wrote it last year and had never used it. So I was like, "This is perfect." So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Please, by any means, if you feel like it, email us your thoughts, feelings, or perspectives to talesfromthecartridge@gmail.com. All of the E's are 3s. You can also find us on our social media, which is Instagram. I haven't killed our Twitter yet because I keep forgetting about Twitter, that it's a thing. I got to delete that because we can't be supporting that. And or by leaving an email or text at our toll-free number at 207-494-4334, and we will read or listen to all those in the future and react to those. So, but today is, I think Ryan, we actually haven't talked about this, so we can cut this out if we need to, but I think this is our last episode of the year.
I guess it is, yeah. Because
we don't have time to record another
right,
one.
And because we have the holidays next week, and then our next episode would come out. I mean, unless we can squeeze one in, but yeah, I guess this would be. I didn't even think about that.
I think so.
That's wild.
Yeah. We can always just keep it in the open and be like, pretty sure this is
Pretty
the last
sure
one this
this
year.
is,
But,
and we're quickly approaching 50 episodes too, right? Like I think this is, or no, 100 episodes, right? This is like 95,
100.
right? This will be 95 or something like that. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. I think we mentioned this in our Wrapped, our Spotify Wrapped. But we had it said that in our category, which I forget what our specific category is on Spotify, we had like 1,380 something minutes more than most creators. So it's 88% of like more than most creators, which is like wild. So all those times, like, and I know that we have not, like, we've kind of faltered towards the end of the year with all the craziness that is life. So we haven't gotten out as many stories as we wanted to. But it did make me feel pretty good.
Yeah,
though.
we had if there's anything to say about Tales is they got lots of content. There's lots of stuff there.
Yeah.
We make a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. So yeah, this will more than likely be our last episode of the year. But we'll have more to come in the coming year, of course. So
yeah, I
already have my next script done.
I already started the 2023 tab on our schedule. We can fill it out. But yeah.
Woo! Cool. Well, good. So today, though, I mean, we're going to end the year, as we always do, with talking about the Game of the Year awards, and kind of talking about what we played as well as what we think should have won. or we agreed with. Spoilers. But how about this, Ryan? We'll start from the bottom and work our way up.
So I think that makes sense because I don't think with our list here at Storygoers we had Game of the Year at the top, and it feels like maybe we shouldn't start with Game of the Year. We'll start at the bottom. We'll work our way up, and it'll be great. Do we want to alternate? We can always cut this out. Do you want to alternate? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So starting at the bottom, not with importance, but of like maybe there was not as much hype. Best adaptation. So a video game that was turned into some other type of media. I'd be really curious to see next year with The Last of Us show how that all shakes out.
Me too.
We've got Arcane, the League of Legends show on Netflix. We've got Cyberpunk Edgerunners, which I know you really enjoyed, by Netflix. Cuphead show on Netflix. Sunset Hedgehog 2 movie, and then the Uncharted movie. I have seen none of these things at all.
I still have not seen Uncharted. I don't plan on seeing Uncharted. It's just not my thing. Video games are for me. I get enough Tom Holland in my Spider-Man, so that's enough for me. Same with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Same with the Cuphead show. Same with Arcane. Even though I've heard great things about Arcane, and I do want to check it out. For me, I've only seen Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I really loved it a lot, so that's what I would have picked going into this. But I do know that Arcane was really well received, even by people that don't like League or know nothing about League. People really liked Arcane, which says a lot. I think that's the same with Cyberpunk as well. People who didn't know anything about Cyberpunk 2077 went into this anime and really liked it a lot. So I think that just shows we're going in the right direction. Yeah. I think that when you adapt this medium in kind of into anything but a live action, you typically get some good results, right? Like even the Sonic the Hedgehog 2, like say what you will, right? It's typically is kind of considered live action, but all the characters are CGI, so that helps it not feel so weird. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I don't know. I say that, but again, The Last of Us on HBO Max looks really good. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I'm very hopeful, but my expectations are at a low just to make sure, you know. But Pedro Pascal's never done me wrong. No. Well, he did me wrong, but it's not his fault because what happens to him on Game of Thrones should never have happened.
Right.
And the writers let him down, or George R. R. Martin let him down.
Eric, I think that episode was one of the few episodes. I could be wrong here. My memories are weird. Was that one of the episodes we were one of the few times we were all together watching that? I remember us all just yeah. Okay, cool.
Your basement, your parents' basement, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our friends were there, and then the thing. It's been years, so I'm just gonna say it. So I forget what his name is, but Pedro Pascal's character in Game of Thrones is like winning his fight against the Mountain, whatever his name was. I'm so bad at Game of Thrones now. Like the hype is so out of it for me. But long story short, Pedro Pascal's character dies, and like the worst way, his eyes get like gouged out, and it's awful. And I remember and then the episode just ends. I remember just sitting there I felt so defeated. It's like he was like my favorite character in the show. He was so cool, And then I think one of our friends, our good friends Posey, he was like, yeah, I knew that was coming out in the books. I was like, oh, that's horrible. Yeah. Like, you knew that we all like this guy. That was funny, though. Yeah, so I don't know. Arcane, I got to check it out, but yeah, I'm not surprised it won. I heard really good things about it, so.
Good for Arcane.
Yeah, good for Arcane. I mean, they're killing it. Like, they're doing so good. Like, and that's the thing that I struggle with, because I want to like League so much. Like, I love the artwork of it. I love the character designs of that game. It's just the gameplay. It's one of those kinds of things. I tried it back when I was in college a lot. I've really tried to play with my friends, but it just was not clicking for me. I just could not grasp it in the way I wanted it to. But now, I mean, Arcane is making so many different things with their IP. They're making a fighting game that looks really good. Cool. I think it's called Project L. Yeah, it's a 2v2 fighting game. It looks really, really good. I know they're doing a couple other things as well. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah. So good on them. I'm excited for it. I hope they do well. So, and same with Cyberpunk. I'm glad that Edge Runners came back and gave that game new life, and everybody loved. And and it brought everybody back, which just Studio Trigger is an anime studio that does amazing work. In animes. They usually do just one season shows. I forget off the top of my head what other ones they've done, but I'm not surprised they did such a good job bringing this back. They did so good. So, yeah. The next category is the best debut indie. So what indie this year came out and just stole the show? We have Neon White, which is that really popular speedrunning game that's been all over like Twitch. Really like it. Yeah. Norco, Stray. I had no idea what Norco was either. Yeah, Ryan, you should hear your head. I had no idea either. I had no idea what Norco was. Stray, which is a beloved cat game that everybody's talking about. Tunic, the beloved fox game that everybody's talking about. And then Vampire Survivors, Ryan's game.
It's a pretty incredible game. Yeah.
I personally would have picked Stray just because I didn't play Neon White. It's not my kind of thing. I have no idea what Norco is. Tunic was fun until it wasn't. Like, it just really dropped off for me because I just was like going back and forth to the same places. I'm really bad at Metrovania kind of games, so that's probably more on me. And I have not tried Vampire Survivors. Ryan, don't hate me. I will play it one day, I promise.
Eric, the way to play Vampire Survivors is on the Steam Deck. Sometime I'm gonna have you come over. I'm gonna hand you the Steam Deck, and you're gonna try it. Yes. And it is. I mean, it's on mobile now. So I don't know how well it plays on mobile, but the only thing you're doing is moving a character around and making choices. So I'm sure it plays just fine. I don't know how the phone's going to handle it because sometimes like computers chug with how much is going on the screen. But who knows? But yeah, that it is. It no worries. It's okay. I don't. And right. You know, I don't even know if I love Vampire Survivors. I think it's maybe one of the most important indie games of the year, in that it is. Created a whole new genre of survivor games. And month over month on Steam, it is the top played game. It has been the top played Steam Deck game for probably 6 months. It is a because it is so easy to pick up and play, and there is so much it's just a fun little game. That being said, I think The Case of the Golden Idol is the best debut for me. It came out a little bit too late to be included in the Game of the Year awards. But it is, in the same way Obra Dinn was like this weird, incredible mystery game, Case of the Golden Idol is that for me. I love that game so much, and it was such a fun game to play that I think I probably would have given it to. And because I want more games like that. I want more mystery games where you're not like choosing dialogue trees. You're actually using context clues and to solve a mystery and solve a puzzle that's a little bit different and weird. So I probably would have chosen The Case of the Golden Idol, but Vampire Survivors. Stray, my partner played. I played a little bit, but I didn't play a ton of. Tunic I loved, but Vampire Survivors is probably the second most game I played this year. But I think I would have done The Case of the Golden Idol just because I want more of that kind of game.
That's so cool. Yeah. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Stray won this category because they were never going to. Not, I shouldn't say it like that. Because they were likely not going to win Game of the Year. Right, so like I feel like Stray had to win something because the hype was so real. Like I remember reading online, some people were just like, it was like either love it or hate it. Like the fact that Stray was up for Game of the Year, some people were like, if Stray wins, I see my mic. If Stray wins Game of the Year, like then this is so rigged and like this is so silly and stupid. And other people were just like, if the cat doesn't win, we riot. You know what I mean? Like, so like it's either back and forth. So I think Stray had to win something. Yeah.
And I also like, if you don't know how the game awards work, essentially game journalists vote on all of these topics. Essentially, you get a list of topics, and then you nominate people. So if there's some weird things in here, just know it is because there was not like a voting process. I mean, I guess there was. You just nominated. If nothing's got nominated, it's on here. And oftentimes, the Game Awards favor big budget, flashy games over small indie games. And Stray, it's an indie game, but it felt first party in the way it was marketed and the way it was the polish of it. So I think that's probably partially why it was such a well-made and well-polished game.
Yeah, I agree. I think they just did such a good job. Actually, I see Blue 12 Studio. My dog is not happy. Just did such a good job on that game. And so I actually have not beaten it yet, but I want to go back and finish it. It's really, really, really cute. I mean, and who doesn't want to help a cat get back to their family? Yeah. You know, jeez. Well, next we're going to talk about content creator of the year, but honestly,
we're all too old. We're too old to know any of these content creators. I'm still watching the content creators I watched like in college. I have not added any new content creators to my repertoire, so I know none of these people.
I have kids come to my office and they go, do you watch this person on YouTube? I'm like, no, I have no idea who you're talking about. And they go, you should check him out. I'm like, no, I'm good. Thank you, though. That's so kind of you. And they're like, you look like this streamer. I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I probably won't look it up. Like, it's so nice of you to say that, but yeah. Even though it's not, but whatever. So anyway, we're going to skip ahead to best multiplayer game. So the best outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design. Oh, sorry, Finn. Including co-op and massively online player experiences. Irrespective of game genre or platform. So they had Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. So they picked Splatoon 3, which I thought was wild.
That's pretty wild.
But that game is super
popular
in Japan right now. It's huge in Japan. Whereas like over here, all I hear about is Call of Duty and maybe Overwatch 2. Yeah. Right? I thought with all the kind of craziness of Overwatch 2, that would help it a lot more. But I think because of the Battle Pass stuff and all the negative press, I can see why that didn't win necessarily. I'm really surprised that Call of Duty didn't take it, though, honestly. And Multiverses has died out really hard. Actually, the numbers have really tanked hard. Yeah. And I haven't heard anything about it. I heard Shredder's Revenge is very good, but I don't think it would ever stand a chance. Yeah. Very surprised that Call of Duty didn't win this, but I think it makes sense though because Splatoon 3 is, and I think that the people who the outlets that vote on this know that Splatoon 3 is killing in Japan, so it just makes more sense to vote for that.
For sure.
Yeah. I never played it. It looks fun, but I never
Would you do Overwatch, do you think, Eric?
I would have to do Overwatch, yeah. I don't really play Call of Duty anymore, even though I'm sure it's fun. You know, in Multiverses I downloaded, but I never actually got to. I just kind of, the hype really fell out for me pretty fast. And, but yeah, the only one I played is Overwatch 2, so I would probably pick Overwatch 2 in terms of multiplayer. But when you think about multiplayer, so it's including co-op and massively online, a massive multiplayer experience. I probably would pick Played Up.
Honestly. I mean that's.
I probably would pick Played Up. I think Played Up deserved way more hype or way more recognition than it's gotten. So for me personally, I'd probably because we've had so much fun playing Played Up. Good.
I hope it gets more. I hope it gets more love and support. It's just a tiny indie game is the challenge. It did get picked up. It was on Polygon's top 50 games of the year, which I was super surprised to get out. That was on anybody's radar.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I didn't play any of these multiplayer games. Shredder's Revenge looks very fun. It gives me the Scott Pilgrim vibes.
Yes.
Which was a very, very fun game, but I haven't played.
Good game.
So I guess the multiplayer game I've enjoyed the most this year was probably Played Up. I think.
Yeah, I think Played Up would take it for me, which is funny because like it's just such a different. You know, back in like when I was like 15, I probably would have picked like Call of Duty or Overwatch 2, right? But being 31, I'm just like played up so much. It's such a different mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't need to get the nuke anymore in Call of Duty. Like, I've moved beyond that. Like, I've grown as a person to not need that. But if you do, more power to you. That's not like a knock against you, right? It's just like different phases, different people, different phases. But yeah.
Next, we have Best Sports and Racing for traditional and non-traditional racing sport games. F1 22, FIFA 23. Oh, yeah, sports. Okay, I was like, that's not a racing game. FIFA 23, NBA 2K3, Gran Turismo 7, and Ali World. I have not played any of these. I've heard Ali World is good.
That's what I probably would have picked.
But I haven't. Yeah, I think I'd probably pick that one too, just because it's the only one I've heard people talk about, and it sounds like a fun time. But I know none of these things.
Yeah, respect to everybody who plays these. I just know the Gran Turismo, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like an absolutely amazing game. I'd probably pick Ali World just because it looks so unique and different to itself than anything else around it. So I would probably pick that. Or you know what? Screw it. Mario Kart just released their new track.
They're in.
It would never be able to win, but that's what I would pick right now. Yeah. Best simulation / strategy game. So game that focuses on real time or turn based strategy. We have Dune, Spice Wars. Sorry.
Oof.
It's such a weird title. All right, Dune, Spice Wars. I think of Spice Girls. That's all the Spice Girls fighting each other. Mario plus Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, Total War, Warhammer 3, 2 Point Campus, and Victoria 3. I have not played any of these, to be quite honest with you. I just from the name alone, I'd probably pick Dune, but that's not true. I'd probably pick Mario Rabbids.
It's supposed to be very good. It's supposed to be very good.
Yeah, I heard it's really good, and it's Mario, so like, I feel like you can't go wrong.
I have played 2 Point Campus. It's fine. If you like the 2 Point games, 2 Point Hospital was a very fun game. I don't know if it would win. Victoria 3 I haven't played yet, but it is made by Paradox, and I love their strategy games. Warhammer, Total War games I love, but I haven't played the Warhammer ones. I've heard Raving Rabbids, Mario and Rabbids is very good. I have not seen anything on Spice Wars. So I'd probably also give it to Mario and Rabbids, or maybe once Midnight Suns gets attacked together, it could be here because it's doing some really interesting stuff with strategy games. But I haven't played any of these other than 2 Point Campus, and I don't think it's like anything incredible. It's very fun.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
It's that's a hard. It's they have to pull so many. They have to. Yeah, that's a hard one. Next, we have Best Family Games for the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3. I have played Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. I've heard the beginning is kind of slow and boring, and the end gets like incredible and good, but I haven't gotten there. I've played Lego Star Wars. It was really fun. It's kind of overwhelming. It is like an open world Lego game with like side quests everywhere. And so it's a huge game. So me and my partner played it probably put about 15-20 hours in it, but then like kind of lost steam. Rabbids, Switch Sports, Splatoon 3. I don't know. I don't think I've played enough of these to make a choice. I mean, I've played the one I've played the most is Lego Star Wars, so I might pick that, but it's not doing anything incredible. I've heard Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Kirby and the Forgotten Land has this cool thing where you can play as Kirby and you have all the cool powers of Kirby, but then the second player plays as Waddle Dee and you just have a spear and you can't die, so it's like a really good game to like play with a young kid, and I've heard that. But I can't speak any more on that. So maybe I'd get it to Kirby because I think that's a good time.
I think Kirby is a solid pick. I think you're probably right on this one. And granted, I haven't played any of these games, so I really don't have any say here, you know what I mean? But I think when I think of like best family game, I think of one that I could see all family members sitting in front of the TV and playing. And for me, that's probably Nintendo Switch Sports. And I've watched a little bit online of other people playing on YouTube and stuff, and it looks like a lot of fun. I really don't have a reason to buy it right now because it's just me and my partner, and I don't think we'd play that necessarily. We might, but I don't know. But then again, like you were saying with Kirby, like that has a great accessibility and kind of allows people of all different types of gameplay ability to play it. So I could see how that would be a great family game to play. So I'll probably back you up on that and say Kirby should probably win that. Okay, next is best fighting game, and actually this is one I really wanted to talk about, so I'm actually pretty excited for it. But this is for the best fighting game, or the best game actually designed primarily around head-to-head combat. The nominees are DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle, R, The King of Fighters, 15, that's right, Multiverses, and Sifu. So what I want to say is, I thought about this actually the other day. I really struggle. I think different people have different opinions on this, so there's no right or wrong answer. I don't think that Sifu should be on this list. Primarily centered around the idea of martial arts, right? You are fighting through this game, but like I see Sifu so much more as an action adventure game than a fighting game. Like look at all these other examples. These, so DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, King of Fighters, and even Multiverses are, it's on a singular it's on, different platforms, and you're kind of versing each other. There's no story essentially. There is, but it's not the focus here. Whereas Sifu, you're going from level to level to level. There is an overarching story that you're kind of exploring here. It's just not. It doesn't belong in this category. Like I love Sifu. It's one of my favorite games of this year, but it's just not. It does not belong on this category. So I would never pick Sifu for this, out of respect for the other games because they are fighting games. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Do you think what happened here is like again a bunch of journalists were like, I don't know, Sifu was they googled best fighting game and Sifu came up, or fighting games of 2022 and Sifu popped up, and then they just threw it in or something, or they just didn't know any of these other fighting games and they knew Sifu was like a pretty big game, so they just threw that in there maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I watch a lot of like fighting game content on YouTube a lot. Mostly because I can't play because my internet sucks a lot, so I can't really play online games, which sucks. But I can kind of live vicariously through these other people playing them, and I enjoy watching it. It's a lot of fun. But so like for example, like the fighting game community is super small comparatively to most other genres of video games. Like fighting games really don't get bought a whole lot. Like DNF Duel did not do as well as it was hoping to. Even King of Fighters 15 did not do very well. The best game that came out recently for fighting games is Guilty Gear Strive, which sold... no, I'm sorry, that's not true. It's Tekken. It was Tekken. Guilty Gear Strive actually underperformed as well. They did okay. They did pretty good. But Tekken 7 sold like by and far the most fighting games. But of course, the all-time winner being Super Smash Brothers, of course. Anyway, I would have not be surprised if the people who voting... My dog's losing my... If the people who voted for this saw the other box, checked it off, and wrote Sifu, because I would bet the majority of them don't play fighting games. So that's probably what happened, unfortunately. Because Sifu... I feel like that was a lot of negative... people were questioning, like, should Sifu even be on this list? And that was never Slow Clap's, the developer's fault. Like, they didn't obviously want to be on this list, I don't think. But I don't know. I just feel like Sifu deserved better than that, to be thrown into the best fighting, because there's fighting in it. But like, you know what I mean? Like, what other game?
God of War has fighting in it.
All the other games. Yeah, God of War has fighting in it. Like, is that a fighting game now? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I can beat the crap out of things with his fists. I don't have to use his weapons. Is that now a best fighting game? It's a little silly to me. I feel like the Game Awards kind of dropped the ball on that one. They could have done better with like saying no, Sifu's not a fighting game. Like, it's an action adventure game. But whatever. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Slow Clap wanted to be there. I'm not sure. But whatever. So to answer the question though, who would we pick? I actually probably would pick DNF Duel personally. It didn't do super well. I know Multiverses came out of the gate super hot and crazy, but it didn't really redefine anything. DNF Duel is really cool. It just had its own style and flair. I could see how Multiverses won, but for me, it would probably have been DNF Duel.
Yeah, I have no concept on any of these things. So I'm going to default to you on that.
Perfect. No, Multiverses makes sense though. It's so many different characters coming together, and it was
known by a lot of folks.
Yeah, and it just didn't really revolutionize anything. It was just kind of like a Smash Brothers clone again, just like the Nickelodeon one that no one talks about anymore.
Yeah, and it had its really hot time in September, October, and the voting for this was in like November. So so it's still fresh in people's minds when you're doing that voting in the fall for the Game Awards, when all the journalists got their stuff. So it makes sense. That's when they were thinking about it.
I would even say that instead of Sifu be on this list, I would probably put Rumbleverse on this list instead. That's more of a fighting game to me than Sifu is. And I probably would have then picked Rumbleverse. I actually had a lot of fun playing Rumbleverse. I see that more as a fighting game, even though I know it's much more of a multiplayer. It's more of a MMO than it is a fighting game. But I think that makes more sense to me than Sifu.
Yeah.
So
we have best
rant over.
Best role playing game, a game designed with rich character customization, progression, and also including massive multiplayer experiences. Elden Ring, Live Alive, Pokemon Legends, Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I have also played none of these games, so I have no concept. I am not surprised by who won at all, but I have not touched any of these. I mean, I have played other RPGs, like God of War has some RPG elements. Horizon Zero Dawn has RPG elements. I've played other RPG games, but I have not played these, so I don't know. I am not surprised at all that.
Would you say Cult of the Lamb?
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, there is some role playing game elements there. Yeah, there's character progression. There's progression. Yeah, sure. Give it to Cult of the Lamb.
I would say Cult of the Lamb for me. See, and I'll get more into it. And later on, I'm going to talk about Game of the Year. But I mean, Elden Ring, I just didn't play it. I watched gameplay of it, and it's just not my kind of game. Which is frustrating because I want to understand other people's perspectives about Elden Ring so badly. I want it to make sense because for me, I struggle to understand why. Oh, I'll talk about this later. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going to. The only one I played in this list is Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I didn't love it. And I know, and it's more because of me. I know it's because of me. I was, as someone who wants to keep things neat and tidy. And I way over empathize into things way too hard. Like when I able to like open my inventory and find like, I don't know, I can't remember what Pokemon are in this game. Like 20 Pidgeys just sitting in my inventory that I'll never touch. I'd be like, ugh, I don't want to keep all these 20 Pidgeys. So I have to go through and release every single one I'm never going to ever touch. And it was just such a tedious thing. I was like, I don't want to play this game anymore. I just made me like lose steam. And I think, you know, we're going to talk about what games we played this year at the end. I haven't played Pokemon Scarlet and Violet yet, though I want to by the end of the year, and I hear that it just makes it so much better. So I think that was probably a much better choice to pick instead of Arceus, but of course, that came out way too late to be considered. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet did, so. I probably would have picked Arceus, but I see why Elden Ring won.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I haven't played any of these enough. I've heard Triangle Strategy is interesting. It keeps popping up on my you should try this on Steam. I'm not surprised at all. Elden Ring 1, it is like one of the best. Well, we can talk about more of that when we get to the Game of the Year stuff, because we'll have that. We'll have more conversations about that there. But
yeah. The next one we have is Best Action/Adventure Game. It goes without saying, combining combat and traversal and puzzle solving. We have A Plague Tale, Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic. All cool games. I really want to play A Plague Tale. I just know, again, this is all me. It usually comes back to me and my weird preferences. I know that in the first Plague Tale, spoiler alert, like a dog gets like sucked into a sinkhole and dies, and it just like, I was immediately like, nope, I'm good. Just didn't touch it. I was like, I don't really care anymore. I'm done. Yeah. My go-to whenever I watch a horror film, especially, but usually when I watch a movie, but that's not John Wick, I guess. I usually like my motto is that if an animal dies at some point, I'm typically out at that point. I don't really. I kind of separate from the movie itself. Yeah, which sounds so silly to say out loud, but it's just my weird thing. I watched if you see, I no offense, I think I would doubt you've seen this movie, Ryan. Have you seen the movie Hereditary at all?
No. I think you may have talked about it before, but I've not seen it.
I think it's one of the scariest movies I've seen, just because like it was literally horror. It wasn't jump scary. Anyway, going through that movie, I really forced myself. I saw it in theaters. It was so hard to sit in that movie because I was just so tense the whole time. And I told my partner that, like, if there's any animals dying in this movie, I'm walking out of this theater. Like I can't take it. And spoiler alert for this movie, the very very end, you see the family dog dead. At the end, and I was like, of course they would wait to the end of this movie. And I was like, this is so irritating. I need to see what happens. Yeah, it's like the last 5 minutes, and I was like, this is stupid. I don't know. I went off on a huge thing there. You can skip ahead, guys. If you're going through this again, whatever. This makes no sense. I would pick God of Ragnarok 100%. Like it just makes the most sense. Great titles here. I didn't play Forbidden West. I know people loved it.
Yeah, that's good.
I played Stray, but it's not. Again, I don't see that. there's no, I don't see it as combat. I see it as traversal and puzzle solving. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And then Tunic was cool, but just I fell off of it. So 100%. Why wasn't Elden Ring on this?
Weird categories. The categories are weird, and that's just all there is to it. Yeah. It's just how it shook out.
So weird.
Yeah, I've played all of these but A Plague Tale. I think I would also give it to God of War. I think it is the best of these. Horizon Forbidden West is a very good game, but and the combat and puzzle solving and traversal are all fun. I don't think the moment to moment they are. It's really hard because, like, when I think about God of War Ragnarok, I'm thinking about the whole experience. When I think of Horizon Forbidden West, I think about the whole experience. I don't know if I can separate the combat exclusively. I think the God of War combat is tighter. It is more well thought out.
Yeah.
But it is also completely different. Tunic, the combat, you're really just swinging. There is some really cool puzzle solving. I think Tunic has some of the most interesting puzzle stuff going on.
Yeah.
Just because of the way you engage with it. And I didn't play much Stray. So yeah, I think I'd do God of War as well. Just because I think it kind of does everything Horizon does, but a little bit better. Unfortunately for Horizon, they're making good stuff, but they just keep getting... they have bad timing, Horizon does. Guerrilla Games does.
I was about to say, I'll bring it up at the end, actually. It comes more into the game of the year category. So, yeah. I forget who's on who. I don't know who's on which one now.
I think it's me.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did role playing. For best action game, different from action adventure, it's best action game. The best game action genre focused primarily on combat.
This is where Sifu should have been.
Sifu
is
here. Yeah.
Sorry.
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. I haven't played any of these. I know the story of Sifu, and it's very good, so I'd maybe go with Sifu. I've heard Shredder's Revenge is good, but I haven't touched any of these other games.
I would 100% pick Sifu. Like 100, Sifu had me totally wrapped in it until I think I 100%ed it, but like, maybe not. I don't know about that, but I just really love Sifu so much, and I think, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised. I think Bayonetta has its following for a reason. I think people really enjoy that game. It's never been a game that I've needed to play, and it had so much, not hype, but just so much energy coming off it from all the scandal that was coming from that game with the previous voice actress previous voice actor, and so yeah. Anyway, I think Sifu 100% takes this. I think this category is fit for Sifu. You know what I mean? It's just the game is combat, and it's just so good. I think Sifu was so undervalued, and I think it 100% should have won this title, this category.
Yeah, I definitely think there's probably a recency bias here too, right? Where Sifu, with Tunic, I forgot Tunic came out this year, right? Because it came out so long ago. Same with Sifu. Sifu came out was it in the spring or was it
February?
February. Yeah, it's so hard to compete against a game that came out the month that people are writing about these things. So yeah, I think that's always going to be a challenge with this type of way of deciding the games is that recency bias.
And there's one game that defies that. You know what I mean? But we'll talk about that later.
Sure. Yeah.
It bothers me a little bit, but it doesn't. Yeah. We don't. Virtual reality game.
We can't afford VR. Get out of here.
No. Yeah. There's no way. I have again, kids that come in my office I have a VR. I'm like, cool. Your parents are rich. That's awesome. I'm jealous. And I heard Moss is really cool. I would want to. I want to try.
Moss looks super cool.
Among Us VR sounds like it'd be a lot of fun, but again, I never played it. I'm going to skip ahead to the next one. Is that cool?
Yeah, please do.
Innovation and accessibility, so games that kind of really push the medium for addressing features to help people who struggle and playing video games and gets to a wider audience. So we have As Dusk Falls, God of War Ragnarok, Return to Monkey Island, The Last of Us Part 1, and The Quarry. And I actually really don't know a whole lot about this either, but I will say I've heard a lot about God of War's accessibility, and actually The Last of Us as well, how they went back to The Last of Us and redid that as well. So it's just cool. I honestly don't even have a winner to pick. I think they're all, sounds so lame. You ready for my lame comment of the day, everyone? I think they all deserve to win because that's just really cool. Everybody's taking the time to push innovation and accessibility for people so everybody can enjoy video games and not just people who are, physically able to, I guess.
Yeah.
I might be saying that wrong, so I apologize. But
yeah, I think any company that takes the time to do these things, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to say, well, who is the best at making things accessible? Certainly, if you're going above and beyond, I think that should be celebrated. But I think Sony Interactive Entertainment, all of their first party games that have come out have tried and are probably going to continue to try to push that in an important way. So I hope they keep doing that, because Horizon also had a ton of stuff as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think they're as a company or they have some champions within their company who are pushing those things, which I think is really great.
Yeah, it feels weird to kind of compete on who's the most accessible.
Yeah,
a little weird.
Right.
In retrospect,
a bunch of like able-bodied people voting on which is the most accessible feels a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's the Game Awards. I don't know what to tell you. Things are weird.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Best community support. Recognize the game for outstanding community support, transparency, responsiveness, including social media activity, game updates, and patches. Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, No Man's Sky. Weird one. No Man's Sky came out like so long ago. I guess all these some of these games. I guess all of them did. So I guess it's continued support.
That's true.
I have played Destiny. I have played No Man's Sky. I have not played Final Fantasy 14. I constantly hear about Final Fantasy 14.
Constantly.
And how good and well ran that game is. And I have not touched it. So they can have it because, like, I am a part of the Destiny community. I play it a lot. Bungie does a lot of really great stuff. They do a lot of dumb stuff. All good intentioned. And I would say probably most people who are trying to make games are good intentioned. Mm-hmm. But I constantly hear about Final Fantasy 14. And the things going on there, and how responsive and transparent, and how good of a company, how good of a game that is. So it makes sense that they won. Yeah.
I think, you know what, I will say I also hear a lot about Final Fantasy 14 as well, and I think that's a huge game. After what was the game that died out a little bit that brought about, all my animals are just driving me crazy today. Oh my god. I don't know. What I was going to say, I just lost my document because my cat stepped on my keyboard. Just going to lose it. What I will say is that I think, from what I hear from, not to be just repeating everything I say every time I talk, but from the kids I work with at my job as a therapist, like, I keep hearing about how, like, Fortnite this week is dead. Fortnite isn't cool. And for multiple kids, but then a week goes by and something happens and they're right back in it. Even adults will come in and be like...
Yeah, I will say, Fortnite has had a bit of a heel turn in that, like, people who used to think Fortnite is dumb and no one likes it, they got rid of building, and I've seen so many content creators that I engage with go back to Fortnite, and, like, this game is dumb and silly, but they're just doing fun stuff, and it's fun.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
I think, just the day-to-day, I have like adults come to my office, and I'm like, oh yeah, because I know they play games. I'm like, oh, what are you playing? And they go like, they're like almost ashamed to say it, like, oh, a little bit of Fortnite. Like, no, like, why? I don't understand. Like, I don't play it, but like, I don't feel any hate towards Fortnite. Like, they know exactly what they're doing. Look at, like, all the things that they do. Geralt, Doom Guy, Hulk, My Hero Academia, like, wild. It's just wild. Running around shooting each other. Like, Geralt with a gun shooting people. Like, the Hulk with a gun shooting people. Like, and apparently it works. I can't. It feels very jarring to me. I saw a clip of, like, Thor running around with a gun. I was like, this just feels so weird. Like, this just doesn't feel very right to me. But it brings people in. People love it. People love it. And you know what? And honestly, more power to Fortnite, because from what I understand, there's no pay to win. It's all cosmetic, and then think about this as well, like how silly it is. It's so silly. And again, there's another bash towards Blizzard, as much as I play Overwatch 2. Like, their skins that they show off, like, you can get this skin if you pay $20, right? You don't actually get to see the skin. Like, you see the hands of the skin. Yeah. But you don't get to see the skin. Whereas in Fortnite, you do get to see your skin. You play, third person. It's just, it's very... I don't know. The companies that make those choices, it's very silly. But then Fortnite, I think they're just smart. They're smart.
They're smart.
They're just smart. They're really excited. Same with, I mean, we used to play with our friend Dave and my friend, your cousin Tyler, that we play. I used to play Apex with them a lot. But even then, it's the same deal. You get a cool skin, but you can only see the hands of the skin. Unless you do like a special kill move, you can actually see the whole skin. But that doesn't happen very often. At least not for a normal player. I feel like myself. Anyway, my Fortnite and then Genshin Impact. Everyone loves, but I just don't. It's just too much for me. It's too much anime for me. As someone who enjoys anime, it's just too much for me. So. Anyway, Fortnite would be my winner.
I mean, I think there's also, like, not to continue to talk about Fortnite, but, like, you get those really cool skins. And then also, like, you could make, like, the Hulk and Indiana Jones do a cool dance and watch them do a cool dance, right? Or, like, not only do you get these interesting skins, but they make all of the emotes work with those cool skins. Mm-hmm. It's wild. It's a wild world. And Fortnite is doing their best to stay relevant, and it's incredible that they still are.
They're doing great. Yeah. I mean, every other game, like you said earlier on, with like Destiny and Assassin's Creed, like every other game is trying to be like Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like even, I think I read, I'm pretty sure, I could be getting this wrong, so don't hold me to this. I'm pretty sure someone from Overwatch 2 even said they would love to start doing crossovers. Like they said, like they mentioned like Naruto. They would love to have Naruto crossovers, right? Which for a game like Overwatch 2 at this point does not feel...
No, it doesn't
feel
right.
That just feels jarring. It feels very strange. Whereas Fortnite embraced this early on. Like, and they look how... They just keep running with it. Like, it's just so good. Like, Fortnite just continues to kill it. I feel like they deserve that.
Yeah.
So much more. But again, I never played Final Fantasy 14, so I could be super duper wrong.
Yeah.
And I probably am.
Sure.
All right, next is Best Mobile Game. We have Apex Legends Mobile, Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, Marvel Snap, and Tower of Fantasy. I have not played any of these, but everyone and their mother is talking about Marvel Snap, how much they love it.
Yeah.
And the creator of that and Hearthstone was on stage, and he's an interesting personality. He looks kind of fun. He looks like he's pretty cool at parties, so I'm happy that he got it. It sounds like a lot of fun. Our friends were talking about it on.
Sounds like it's a very fun game.
Group chat, and it sounds like a lot of fun.
Took what was good about Hearthstone and then like just boiled it down even smaller, so that like you have a deck of 12 cards instead of like 50 or whatever. So like it's supposed to be very good and very quick and accessible.
It sounds very good. So I'd probably pick that. I don't really have any other interest in. I don't try to. The only mobile game I have right now. People are gonna hate me. I keep talking about my work.
It's okay.
Is Plants vs Zombies, because I had to make a deal with a kid that if he's open and we work together and he shows like even 5 minutes of effort, we can play Plants vs Zombies together. And that's been actually super helpful. We've actually made a lot of progress, so it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we've played Plants vs Zombies. Only mobile game on my phone.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Next one.
Best Indie for outstanding creative technical achievement, a game made outside of the traditional publishing system. Feels like we talked about a lot of these things already, but I guess debut indie versus just best indie. I don't know. I don't fully understand what the difference is because all these games came out this year as well. I'm not
so
really
confused,
sure.
But
there's like the best debut indie, which is I guess an indie that came out this year, and the best indie, which also all came out this year. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on here.
Yeah, they're still getting their bearings.
Creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional holding system. Sure. Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic. I think of these, I would probably go with either... I only played Cult of the Lamb and Tunic.
Yeah.
I think... Tunic, I think, was more interesting. Cult of the Lamb, I think, was more fun. I would give it to the Case of the Golden Idol, though, personally. But yeah, Sifu is also, I like you said, is very good. So I don't know. I didn't play it, but
yeah, I think I'm stuck because I think as great as Stray is, and it really was a lot of fun, and Tunic. I didn't play Neon White. I'm kind of stuck between Sifu and Cult of the Lamb because Cult of the Lamb had like kind of those, upgrading your cult, making it flow, having it benefit you, making you stronger. Whereas Sifu kind of had like the stylish points, like the easier you're flowing in combat, and the more the better you are, the more points you get, which makes you stronger, or also staying alive, because if you die, then you age. And that was actually a lot of fun because, like, if you continue to age, it really starts to wear on you. Like, oh my god, if I die one more time, I'm going to age 7 years. This is not good.
Yeah.
I would probably, my gut says Sifu. I think I would pick Sifu. I really loved how they did their system. Like, it was so straightforward, and the replayability was so much fun to kind of just keep going back and trying to get better and better and better. Whereas Cult of the Lamb kind of wore on me a little bit. I was ready to be done with it. Whereas Sifu, I wish there was even more. I would totally take more Sifu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best ongoing game, which feels like, again, another category that we just did. What?
It's like one's community support, and then one is ongoing game. But I feel like in order to be a good ongoing game, you have to have community support. It's fine. They'll get it.
All right.
In the next 10 years, they'll get it once, I think.
Holy crap. All right. Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Genshin Impact. Whoa, Final Fantasy 14 won it. Who would have thought? Again, I would probably pick Fortnite. I think Fortnite is the best ongoing game by far. Yeah. It just doesn't, it won't, I don't think it'll ever die. I don't know. It will eventually, but I don't see it happening. So, but again, who knows?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, of these, I've played a lot of Destiny. I really enjoy Destiny. I think they are good. They're kind of locked into doing things the way they're doing. I'm hopeful for when they finally have a chance to refresh things. But I think they are doing their best. I'm not surprised Final Fantasy 14 won. I'm surprised Fortnite did not win, similar to you. Yeah. Because it is like still probably like one of the biggest games of all time. Games for impact. So this is a category I like the idea of, but I feel like is a way to kind of put a bunch of games that are doing weird, like these things into one category instead of like allowing them to be in other categories. Yeah. But that's fine. It's not, but I understand what they're trying to do here. Games that have a pro-social meaning or message. Memoir Blue, As Dusk Falls, Citizen Sleeper, Ending Extinction is Forever, Hindsight, and I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. I've not played any of these. I've heard about a handful of them. I think a lot of them are oftentimes LGBTQ plus focused or focused on thinking about like capitalism in different ways. Or it's an interesting category. I think there's maybe a better way to communicate that these are doing important things. And again, it feels weird putting them against each other because you're then saying, like, the way this game talks about things. I don't know. I haven't played any of these to have a huge opinion.
Yeah, same. I actually only know As Dusk Falls. I've heard it's very good, but for me, I don't have anything. I don't have any good picks for this one.
Right. Same.
Games for impact. Let me look at my list really fast. Yeah. I honestly, games for impact, and like you're saying, like this game I would pick is not a game that would go on this list at all. My games for impact would be God of War Ragnarok, just from the total point of family building, improving oneself, how it's never too late. That's the game I'd pick for game. But again, that is not what this category is for. It's not for a big AAA game like God of War.
Yeah.
But for me, having not played any of these, I would pick God of War.
Yeah.
Best performance. Award to an individual for voice over acting, motion, and performance capture. Ashly Burch, which love Ashly Burch, and I was thinking about that. I saw her name on this list, and I was thinking of Hey Ash, what you playing? And I missed that series so much. It'll never come back, and I'm so sad about it.
They're all doing different things. Charlotte, Anthony wrote for God of War though.
I know, and they said that too. Yeah. I heard he did some of the poems in the game.
Yeah,
which I thought was so cool. So cool. It's such a him thing to do. Like, I don't know this person in real life, but like he said, that's so cool. Charlotte McBurney. Does that sound right to you?
That sounds true. That sounds right. Yeah, Charlotte McBurney. Yeah. I've heard her before.
Charlotte, if you're listening to the podcast, which I'm sure you do, who doesn't? I'm so sorry for butchering your name. Christopher Judge, Manon Gage.
From Immortality.
Yeah. And Sunny. Oh, I knew this and I forgot it. Sunny Suljic?
Suljic sounds right.
Suljic. I'm going to say Suljic, yeah. But the winner was Chris Judge from God of War, and I do agree, though I will say that Sunny, who plays Atreus, also did a phenomenal job from what I saw.
For sure.
And that's why I keep saying, I'm not going to go into super spoilers or anything for God of War, but like what I love about God of War, one of the things I love for Atreus is that they get the kind of annoying teenager down so well. Like I'll never die, I'll never get hurt, like that kind of like teenager. Not saying that anything happens to him, that's not what I'm implying, but like just that mentality, you know, like how teens can see how other people can get hurt and be so focused on that, but for themselves they can't see it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they do it so well in this game. He does it such a good job at that. Like he does so good. But Christopher Judge, man, like he just kills it in this game. Yeah. The times I've wanted to cry playing God of War Ragnarok from his acting as Kratos, like I am so happy that he played Kratos when they redid the series, like when they came back with the series. Like I think I used to watch him on Stargate SG-1.
Yeah, the best show. Such a good show.
The best show. Such a good show. So underrated. So underrated. And like, sure. But the funniest part though, thinking back, is that he played. I think his character's name was Teal'c.
Yeah,
and Teal'c was so quiet and reserved. Mm-hmm. Like he didn't talk very much. But like Christopher Judge is a phenomenal actor. Like he's just crazy. Yeah. He's so good. I don't know. He totally deserves it. Though I do think he stood on that stage during the Game Awards way too long. It was like uncomfortable.
I heard that.
It was so uncomfortable. I was telling my girlfriend Lindsay, I was like, yes, Christopher Judge won. And she's like, who is he? And I was like, he was in God of War Ragnarok. He did so good. And he's up there for like 10 minutes, it feels like. And I was like, okay, maybe I wish I didn't. He didn't win this one. It's like this is a little too much. Right. It was forever. Even Jeff Keighley was making fun of it.
Yeah.
Like it was bad. So anyway, but no, I'm happy he won.
Yeah, I think the only change I would make is I would probably throw Odin's VO on here. I don't know if they would win, but man, that was an incredible performance. Every time he was on screen, he had his. I don't want to spoil anything, but his ability to manipulate and communicate, and like when he's in a room, he's like this like timid, skinny dude, but he had such presence when he talked, and absolutely incredible. All of Ashley Birch did really tough things in Horizon. No spoilers, but like played multiple characters, which is very challenging with completely different personalities, which is really challenging. Immortality, wild game, wild stuff going on in that game.
You played it?
No, I've a lot of the current content creators I engage with really enjoyed it. The Justin McElroy of the McElroys really likes FMV games. This was like the FMV game, so he talked a lot about it, and like the fact that this voice actor, Christopher Judge, put mocap on and to deliver lines. Gage had to like act in scenes because like it was videotaped, right? It wasn't CGI. Right. She had to like be an actor. And perform in both as the actor and then in multiple movies that you're watching throughout this game. Because in this game, you're like going through the filmography of this woman's life. And you're seeing the different roles she's played. So like the challenge there is really intense. I still think Christopher Judge was absolutely incredible and deserved to win. But
the tent scene. So
many of those scenes. So many. It also Olives. Such an incredible delivery. If you heard that voice line, absolutely incredible.
So funny. So funny.
Yeah.
Maria's response is so good.
Yeah. So it just very, very good.
So good. Oh my god. And that's what. Again, I'm not gonna spoil God of War, but like even those moments of, like in the first game when they're just in the boat talking, those little moments back and forth. Like there's so many good ones of those in God of War Ragnarok that they didn't even need to be in it. You know what I mean? Like there's so many little good touches that they performed so well that it's just like it was so good. It just really gave that more sense that this world is alive. You know what I mean? Just from their dialogue and their performances alone, like it was so man, it's so good.
Very good.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Best audio design so the nominees are Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Forbidden West. And to be honest with you, audio design is not one that really stands out to me a whole lot. Like, I don't really pay attention super well to audio design, so I would probably just say God of War Ragnarok, who did win. I would probably just go with that as well. I don't know. Like, I'm looking at my list now, and nothing was crazy. Like, Cult of the Lamb had, like, fine audio, you know what I mean? Like, Overwatch 2.
The only game where audio design really jumps out at me is Destiny because I've been playing it for so long. I like know when there's new audio design. Like I am highly attuned because I'm so used to those sounds because I've been playing the game for 10 years. But I mean, there was nothing in. I've played Horizon and I've played God of War of this list. I don't know if there's like amazing audio design in these other games. There's nothing in God of War that jumps out at me when it comes to audio design. Like there's no sound effects. The music, but again, that's a different category.
Well, I mean, just like the rowing of the bow and
for sure,
the runic attacks and like so that's what I'm kind of thinking of.
The
and,
sounds,
those do sound amazing.
Yeah,
sounds, like when things hit, like they really hit.
I think like, and maybe it was just my mindset. I think Forbidden West, the sounds that the creatures make, the machines make, and the sound of the weapons is so unique and interesting that one kind of jumps out to me a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
But best score in music for outstanding music includes the score and song for licensed soundtrack: A Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War, Metal Hellsinger, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. God of War 1, I think I agree. The music of God of War is very good. Bear McCreary does an incredible job with that hurdy-gurdy, and he's in the game. He's that dwarf you meet in the bar. That's him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
that's really cool.
Yeah, he did an incredible job. The sweeping score that accompanies the really intense moments are very good.
So good. I don't know. I was just trying to do it. It's in my head, and I'm gonna cut that out. That was bad. No, it sounds so good. Way better than what I just tried to do.
Yeah,
like 1,000 times better, a million times better. I God of War for me. The songs, just the music's so good. Art direction, best art direction. We have Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and Stray, with Elden Ring winning. And I think Elden Ring is just has that specific style, you know. Like there's just a style that is Elden Ring when you see it.
Yeah.
It's not it's a little too rough and kind of like grotesque for me.
Grimdark, yeah.
A little dark, yeah. So I probably would pick God of War Ragnarok, even though that also could be viewed in similar ways to what I just said. It was just called out. But I don't, I say that though, and I actually wait. I'm trying to find the list again. Where score art direction? I think I'd actually pick Stray. I think I'd actually pick Stray. I think that Stray's art direction was really cool. I love the robots. They all have their own little personalities, like great designs. I mean, obviously not more work. There's a lot. You know, the game is much bigger of God of War Ragnarok, Horizon, Elden Ring. Maybe even Horizon, honestly, should win. I don't know. I like the art directions for a lot of these, actually. I'd probably pick God of War, but Stray and Horizon are very good. And I don't really remember. Scorn is that creepy, gross one, right?
But I mean, yeah, it has a very specific aesthetic that is really creepy and gross that I did not enjoy. But I get, like, there is something to be said about it, but I did not enjoy it.
I didn't get into it.
Yeah, this one's tricky for me. Didn't play Elden Ring. There's a specific... All of the Souls games have a very specific like filter that they are put through that look a very specific way that if you enjoy that aesthetic and art style and animation, I'm sure you would enjoy. God of War, the art design and animation of the spaces is really incredible. I think for me it would be Horizon. The different places you see, the diversity of biomes, and then like each community you run into. Like there is one community of essentially, I don't even know what they'd be called, but they like do not consume any type of meat. Everything they have is plant-based. And their whole village is this like green woven, it's on a giant solar panel, and they've just completely covered it with vines. And it's like stunning to look at and is so interesting versus like if you go to the, you know, other villages in different parts of the area, they look completely different just because of the aesthetics of the game. So I might give it to Horizon, but also the art direction of God of War with the character design and the level design and the animation in God of War is pretty incredible. But yeah, it is also really incredible in Stray. And I think like the fact that Stray was able to compete in and of itself is amazing because the budget difference between Stray and these other games, at least those top three, is pretty wild. So I think Stray certainly deserves a huge shout out for that. When did Bridge of Spirits come out? Was that last year?
I think it was last year. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not positive on that one.
So I'd say that one also, if that one came out this year, that would be up there. But I think that was last year. I think you're right.
Yeah. I think, saying all that, sorry, my animals continue to attack me. I think saying that, now I'm thinking about all the different armor sets in God of War as well, and all the different
upgraded
weapons.
versions of it. Yeah.
Yep. So I actually would probably pick God of War, and it's probably why Elden Ring won as well, because of all different customizations and all
the weird
like
stuff.
That.
Yeah, all the interesting stuff. Yeah.
All the weird people who like that weird game.
Yeah, I mean, like in Elden Ring, you have like these very wild-looking creatures and creations. That is fair.
Yeah.
But now the next one. Go ahead, Eric. This is all you. But man, this is our category right here.
Is this? Wait, who did the last? I forget. Did I just do the last?
I think I did the last one.
Oh, okay, just making sure. Yeah,
you're
you're
hopping on the Tales from the Cartridge most important award.
Yes. It's the most important award. Best narrative. I said that word. I said that one weird. Best narrative. Narrative. Weird word. And that's our
3 syllables. That's
it. Best narrative. Plague Tale, Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immortality. I haven't played Plague Tale or Elden Ring, or actually I haven't played any of them besides God of War. But now I'm looking at it. But you know what? Honestly, there's definitely a possibility that it could be better, but I just cannot fathom a better story than God of War Ragnarok. Yeah. I really struggle to see how anything could be as deep as God of War Ragnarok's story was. Like, it hit home for me so much.
Yeah, for sure.
For so many different reasons. I would have to pick, and that's what won. I don't know if I said that already, but God of War Ragnarok would be the one that I pick to win, for sure.
Yeah, I think, I agree. I think God of War Ragnarok would take it from me as well. Elden Ring for best narrative is really challenging because in order to engage with that narrative, you have to do a lot of there's the overarching narrative of Elden Ring is not super intense, and similar to Destiny. If you want to get the most out of that narrative, you have to go to YouTube and watch lore videos.
Yeah,
which does not feel like it necessarily fits in this category. Immortality is super interesting, and there is lots of things going on there. Horizon has a good narrative. I think it does not come close to God of War. I think, unfortunately, they didn't stick the landing in the way that God of War did, and it fumbled. There are things about the God of War story that I not that I disliked, that I thought could be a little bit different. Nothing close to the amount of things in Forbidden West that I did not enjoy or didn't appreciate. Plague Tale I haven't played, and Elden Ring I'm sure there's great narrative and lore in there, but I don't think it is on the forefront of the game in the same way.
Yeah, I agree. I just think God of War's story just really is just
phenomenal.
It's just up and down. It's so good. It's very, very well done.
Best game direction, again, just a weird category because a game director does so many different things in a different game. Like a game like Stray, the game director is in charge of 5 people. A game like God of War and Elden Ring, you're in charge of hundreds of people, and your role is completely different. It's a weird. I think I understand what they're trying to go for here in having a creative vision, but the person who had there is one person or 2 people who had the creative vision for some of these games, and there's teams for these other games. So it's a weird category.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little Elden weird. Ring, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, Stray. Elden Ring won. Of these, I think, again, I would have to go with God of War, just because the overall direction I enjoyed more. But again, as I'm sure you are aware, storygoers, we are not Souls-like games fans. So Elden Ring, absolutely incredible game. We have not engaged with it. We'll talk more about that in the next one. But
I can see probably where this came from, because obviously Elden Ring, and I'm not going to even pretend like I know his name. I should look it up. And I say it out of respect. I just don't know his name off the top of my head. But the director of Elden Ring and all the Souls-like games is well revered, very well respected, one of the best directors of all time. Some consider the best game director of all time. So I can totally see where this came from. Obviously, it just made sense. And quite honestly, I can see the point. Having not played Elden Ring, I've only ever watched some playthroughs of it. I can see why people feel that way compared to God of War Ragnarok, where the director of that kind of picked up what Cory Barlog, the director of the 2018 God of War, did, and kind of just enhance those things.
Yeah.
And had to, and granted, he did I'm not saying he didn't do a good job. He did an amazing job, right? He did so well. But I kind of see where Elden Ring might top God of War in this one, just because it was a totally different game. You know what I mean? It was it was like any other Souls game. It was in its own, it was its own thing. So I can see why that makes sense to me.
Yeah. I think who should really win is Lucas Pope and the Return of the Obra Dinn, because they need to make another game. Because one guy made it, and it's the best game that was ever made.
Let's be real. To direct ourselves, that's the hardest task.
That's the hardest part. Yeah, you have to deal with those internal conflicts, not external conflicts. Yeah.
I hate myself. I can't imagine trying to direct something.
Trying to direct yourself.
I'm just kidding. It's like you go to work. They go to work. Like what's your job? Like, oh man, I work with this jerk. I hate him so much. Like, oh, like how many people do you work with? Just myself.
Just me. Yeah,
just me.
He's the worst. Oh man.
And then it's the coveted game of the year.
The game of the year. If you win this, you're obviously the best game to come out in 2022, without doubt.
Supposedly,
as says Jeff.
Overlord Jeff.
Game of the year. Recognize the game that delivers the best experience across all creative and technical fields. Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon, Stray, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. What a wild collection of games.
Yeah, very weird. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is so weird that that's there.
So weird.
Who even knows?
Plague Tale, I'm sure, is a good game. I cannot envision it being the best game that came out this year. But I haven't played it, so who knows?
This is recognizing a game. This is what the Game Awards has as the descriptor, right? Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. All creative and technical fields.
Yeah.
So I just want to point that out before we talk about this more.
So Elden Ring 1, which I expected, am not surprised in any way. It is the most hyped game that came out this year. It received the most love from publishers and lots of people in the industry. Not surprised at all with this one. I think, yeah. I'm
about to get into it.
Yeah, go ahead. Get in there. Eric. Get in
you
there.
Sure?
Eric. Yeah, please.
I'm not cut you off. Okay.
No, you're fine.
I just this is not me downplaying Elden Ring. I totally see why people like this game, and like we talked about before, it's just not our game. That's okay. Like Elden Ring, the experience is really cool. It's such an immersive world. You get to go wherever you want to. It's it's technically amazing. Like it's an amazing game, right? Where I get stuck on this is that this is the category that recognizes and delivers the best experience across all creative and technical fields. Elden Ring definitely has a story, right? George R. R. Martin wrote a story for it, but they don't hold your hand in receiving that story. So if you force yourself to go through that game and kind of pick up those things and piece the story together, you can do that. What I've heard from a lot of people, at least online, is that is not what they did. Like a lot of people finish that game and have no idea what it's even about. You know what I mean? And so from that standpoint, I can't imagine how. I shouldn't say it that way. From my personal perspective, God of War Ragnarok has combat equal to Elden Ring, in my opinion, from what I've seen. And I could be totally wrong and biased in that. But the story then lives up to carrying you on this journey that you are experiencing. It's just for me personally, I can't understand how Elden Ring is superior to God of War Ragnarok, because God of War Ragnarok doesn't require me to jump on a YouTube video to understand what it's trying to tell me, right? If I want if that's the case for Elden Ring winning, why is then not Sifu up there? And as an example, because it's just a fighting game where the story is very minimal compared to the fighting, right? I don't see that as a game of the year, though it's a great game. I see Game of the Year as a total package, a game that just delivers on all fronts. And God of War Ragnarok does that, and I don't see how Elden Ring does. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I get stuck on. Though I will say it's very cool that Elden Ring beat the idea of, it came out early in the year and it carried its hype all the way to the end of the year. You know what I mean? So kudos to Elden Ring for that. And it deserves it. It's a great game. I don't think it represents the best game that's come out this year. I truly, truly don't. I really don't. Like, just everything that God of War Ragnarok has, the graphics, the story, the gameplay, the performances, like, it has everything. Elden Ring doesn't have... I don't think it even has performances in it, right?
There are voice lines. I don't know if there's any mocap or...
it just doesn't... It doesn't have the whole package. It just has some really good aspects to the package, for sure, that people love, and they should. It's great. It is not the best game of the year. It's not.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And whatever. I stand by it, though. I really stand firmly that God of War Ragnarok. It deserved. I really felt it got robbed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to kind of parse where my, like, not enjoyment of this type of game ends and the this isn't a game that is good ends. Like, I don't know how to best parse those. I completely agree with you that any game where the narrative is something that can be completely missed or a huge part of that experience can be missed would be a knock against it as the game of the year. But I think, like, the way in which this was decided, which was a bunch of people sent in, didn't have to justify or say a reason why, they just had to send a name in. If like you're, polling people, hey, what was the biggest game of the year? People are going to say Elden Ring because it was the most talked about. You know what I mean? It got the most reported on.
It's a new IP.
It's a new IP from this company that has made games that are just beloved by huge population within the gaming world. And God of War is a incredible sequel to a game that came out in 2018 and it does everything from that sequel better, I think. I just think it's a hard one to kind of parse, in that, like, Elden Ring is the game that I've played, not a game I have any interest in playing. Really. But it is, considered by a lot the best game of the year. I don't agree, but I don't know how you... It's just a weird thing that the game of the year is a game that I don't particularly... I don't know what the game... I think this has happened in the past for the game of the year, like when, like, Dark Souls would win, right? It is an entire genre that I have not engaged with, have no interest in engaging with, but it is well loved. And if the metric is which game had the most hype of the year, sure, Elden Ring's going to win.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
But I don't think it's the better gaming experience. I think I could like... This is not a metric with which games are measured. But if I was sitting on the couch and somebody who doesn't play games was sitting next to me, they could watch and enjoy God of War Ragnarok. I don't think they could watch and enjoy Elden Ring in the same way. I'd have to, like, say, well, I'm going to kill this boss because they're, like, the undead, resurrected soul of this person from the time of trouble. You know what I mean? Similar to Destiny, it's incomprehensible unless you spend a lot of time, learning and studying it. It's just not the game for us.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, I feel very strongly about that too. Like,
of course.
But again, I would love a new perspective to help shine a light on what we're not seeing, because again, we don't play this game, so we could be totally overlooking something.
Right.
But what I will say though is that I will probably, I mean, tell me what you think, Ryan, but I doubt we'll ever cover a Souls game on our channel. I mean, like, on our podcast. So it's just, the story sounds way too hard to comprehend. I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that would get me to play a Souls game, I think, is if, like, they came out with, like, a fully multiplayer version of it. That I would engage with, because then I don't care about the story. I'm just having fun with friends, right? If I'm playing a single player experience, and that's just who I am as somebody who plays games. If I'm playing a single player experience, I want there to be an interesting narrative and things to pull me along. For the same reason, like, I think Breath of the Wild didn't hit me as good as it hit other people, is because Breath of the Wild is kind of this huge open game. There is a story there, but it's not at the forefront. It is what is special about Breath of the Wild is you can go anywhere and do anything and engage with this incredible world. I think that's similar to why people love Elden Ring, but also then you die a lot and it's not enjoyable. Like, different tastes.
Yeah, I'm not a masochist, so I wouldn't know.
Right.
That's a little too far. No, I think Elden Ring is somewhat multiplayer. I'm not positive on that.
You can do fights. You can do, so it's a bit silly. If you go up to a battle where there's a boss, you can summon your friend to join you, but as soon as you leave that boss arena, they vanish. I want, like, you can go everywhere with my friends.
Everywhere.
If that was a thing, I would probably try it out.
I would try that too. Yeah, I would try that out as well. Yeah. It's funny though that you say that, Ryan. You just compared Elden Ring. Not compared, but you somewhat compared Elden Ring to Breath of the Wild, which I was like, yeah, Breath of the Wild deserves Game of the Year. That's a good game. Like, old crap. But you know what? If I put Breath of the Wild against God of War Ragnarok, I probably would still pick God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah,
honestly. If it was in the same year. If it was in the same year, I'd still pick Ragnarok.
Yeah, they're just
to back up my claims.
For sure. Yeah.
Don't call me out.
I wasn't trying to call you out specifically.
You. If that's the story goes.
Okay. I was just like, because I think like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is a game that is like very hyped.
Oh yeah,
people are well loved. I think people like them for some similar reasons, not the same reasons, but some similar reasons. I think like if you go from playing a game like Horizon Zero Dawn and Elden Ring came out at the same time. Horizon Zero Dawn, there are icons all over your map. You have a quest log that's like 400 things long, constantly telling you what you can do. Versus Elden Ring, there's nothing on the map. You have no quest log. You have to like, if you want to like do a quest, you have to like write it down in a journal, right? You have to like remember who you talk to and then hope they're there. Like there's quests in Elden Ring that took people weeks to figure out because they couldn't find the person you had to give the quest to, right? Like it's just a completely different experience in what you're looking for. And I more engage with the Horizon game experience than with the Elden Ring. But again, I haven't tried Elden Ring, so maybe it would be revolutionary and I'd love it. Who knows?
Maybe we should try it sometime. We'll have to do it on a stream in the future one day.
When it becomes multiplayer, if it becomes multiplayer, we can play it together and maybe we'll enjoy it.
Perfect. All right. So we can do that.
Okay.
Which actually a great segue. You bring up Tears of the Kingdom because we're now in our last category of most anticipated game for 2023. Hopefully, the categories are Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4, Starfield, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. You know me, I want Tears of the Kingdom right now. So that is my game for sure. The other ones, I don't really have any. After Fallout 4, I'm not super thrilled for Starfield. I'm just a little nervous about it, so that one I'm kind of there. Resident Evil 4 looks cool, but I'm just never a huge Resident Evil person, so I'm really happy for everyone that gets that game. Hogwarts Legacy, I'm not a Harry Potter fan really, and I'm not super cool with what's her face, the author. So, but I hope people who do like Harry Potter enjoy that game. It looks awesome from what I hear, and of course Final Fantasy 16 is just I might get into that one, but I don't know. I'm kind of excited for Final Fantasy 7. That remake, what was it called? Final Fantasy 7. What's the second one? The sequel to Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
2.
The title. The title I can't remember. There's a little thing at the very bottom of it.
If you hear me clicking away, it's because I'm looking at the most anticipated games of previous years. So of these, I do not play Final Fantasy games. I do not like Harry Potter. Resident Evil games are too spooky for me. Starfield, I can't imagine that game coming out and it not just the biggest mess.
Buggy.
Yeah. Fallout 4 was a game I really enjoyed. But it was a buggy mess. I can't imagine, and it was like just a town. I cannot imagine Starfield them nailing a bunch of planets. I feel like it's going to be bad. But maybe it won't. Skyrim wasn't a particularly good game either, but people love it. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. But
and I said 2023. I think that this is more just for the future in general, not even 2023.
For sure.
Because I feel like Starfield's not going to come out next year or even the year after. I can see 2025 maybe being
right,
the year for
right, being pushed back. We'll see.
Yeah.
But so I looked up Game of the Year of 2021. Are you ready, Eric? This just to pad this a little bit because we need to pad our hour and 30-minute episode. Starfield, Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild sequel, God of War, Horizon, Elden Ring. That was 2021. So 3 of those games are still there. Or 2 of those games are still there. 2020, God of War, Elden Ring, Horizon, Breath of the Wild, Resident Evil Village. Breath of the Wild has been on here for years, forever. And years.
I had my first apartment when Breath of the Wild came out, and I've moved several times since. So it has really been a while since. I think this is the longest it's been between iterations of Zelda. I read actually. Though I will say, actually, you know what? I will say, I think Tears of the Kingdom is my most anticipated, but just below it, like a centimeter below it is Hades 2.
Hades 2!
So excited for Hades 2.
Stole the show, I think.
Stole the show. After that, I got... Oh, okay. I will say, then a little bit under that is Judas, because that is Ken Levine, creator of BioShock's newest project, and I'm very excited for it.
Yeah.
So, I think after those 2 trailers came out, the Game Awards kind of, for me, a little bit. Though I will say it was a good show. But yeah, no, Hades 2. I am so...
For sure.
I
my
cannot
most anticipated.
stop thinking about Hades 2.
Even if it is the same game, but there is just different stuff to do, it's going to be like a game. It's going to be incredible. Yeah. That is for sure my most anticipated. February, the beta the test comes out,
early
right?
Access.
Yeah. Which
I loved it.
Yeah, which like you did the early access experience.
I did the early access.
So I am trying to parse if I should do early access or not. We can talk about this off, but yeah.
I loved it because like Hades is that game where I just kept going back to it, and then I would slowly teeter off and go to something else. Yeah. But then the next update would come out, and I'll go right back to it. Yeah. And like it was just so exciting when I heard the new update would come out. I would be so excited because then you kind of figure out, oh my god, they added this character art to it, or they did this, or they did that. It was just so. It was so much fun to kind of piece together as the story continued to progress. I really enjoyed it because you kind of see this thing grow bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? So I really enjoyed it.
Okay, maybe I'll have to check it out. Yeah. I'm also very excited about Hades 2. I'm excited about Tears of the Kingdom because I think it'll be a good game in the same way Breath of the Wild was a good game. I'm excited about Baldur's Gate 3 a whole lot.
Yep.
And I mean, also Redfall. Redfall, I'm super hyped for.
I'm pretty hyped for it. I'm not super hyped, but I'm pretty hyped.
If it can deliver, like, it has been a while since I have had, and our friend group has had, like, a good multiplayer game we're all super into. If it can deliver that experience, I'm gonna be so happy because I missed that a whole bunch.
Me too.
So I hope it's good.
It gives me like a Back 4 Blood. Kind of vibe, and I'm a little nervous about that because we did play that. All of our friends,
we did play some.
We all played it together. Yeah, we did fall off it pretty fast. So
yeah, I'm hoping it has more going on in moment to moment to kind of keep us going. And less a little less grindy. We'll see though. I trust Arcane. I hope they do a great job. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. I was telling someone else recently about Arcane and just how they were telling me that they were playing Deathloop, and I was like, oh, you should play Dishonored. You should play. What's the other one that's
Prey.
In space? I always Prey. Thank you.
Phenomenal game. Yeah.
Prey. Yeah. All those games. So very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. So actually, this episode went way longer than we anticipated. So storygoers, let us know what you think about all of our picks that we had, what you thought of the Game Awards, and why we are right about God of War Ragnarok needing to win Game of the Year. But in all seriousness, though, if someone has a really good perspective that they want to share about Elden Ring as to why they think it deserves it over God of War, I think we'd really love to read that. I think we need to kind of see that, and because we're not gonna know that perspective, so we would love to kind of see that and internalize it and kind of talk about it. So. Let us know your thoughts, feelings, and perspectives. Again, talesinthecartridge@gmail.com. All of the E's are 3s. Also, you can find us on Instagram or leave a voicemail or text at our toll-free number at 207-494-4334. And we will read and listen to all those episodes. Read and listen to all those in a future episode. Just remember, just be nice. We weren't trying to insult Elden Ring. It's a great game. Love a new perspective on it. So, but no, a good year of games. I'm very excited for 2023.
Every year's a good year of games, but this is also a good year of games.
Yeah. Well, I think people are like 2021 thinks it thought it was bad because of COVID, but I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't remember.
I don't remember what came out in 2021. I think Last of Us Part 2 came out. Which one? I didn't play.
Oh yeah.
Which I still need to play.
Oh,
I need to get up. I need to get up the energy.
I would do a story for that one.
And the emotional energy. Oh no, 2022 Game Awards were terrible. It Takes Two won everything. Get out of here.
Oh, that's right. Oh, he was on. Yeah, and then when the director was on stage to announce it, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, because I think they're friends. I think with Keeley, who knows? It's dumb. It's all dumb.
I think after that one year, he went off on camera, and he became infamous with the Game Awards. They had to bring him back.
Right.
Yeah, It Takes Two is bad game. That's what I'm saying, Ryan. That is a game with a poor story that has all just gameplay. Yeah. Is that Game of the Year? I don't think so. But you know what? Who am I to say? We don't have a big YouTube channel that could depict what we think should win these Game Awards. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Storygoers, we hope you had a good 2022. This is our last episode of this year, so enjoy. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But we'll be back again in 2023 in January to keep telling you great stories. In the meantime, if you miss us, we have plenty of episodes. We're almost hitting 100 episodes, so we have plenty of episodes to listen to. But again, I hope you're doing well. Everyone's happy and healthy. Enjoy the holidays. Enjoy the new year. And we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye. I'm just like...